Ah, there. Sorry about that. That was a little niche the fish. Um, and then one more thing. Okay, we are ready to go. So, so we're gonna do some stuff for lungs, diaphragm, and spine. And I'm going to start seated and I'll be on a physio ball. If you can be on anything that moves, great. Even like a chair, right, that has the capacity to turn would be good. But if not, if you're just on your butt on a more stable chair, that is also fine. Oh, Susan's here too, so we'll have more people. So let's just take a minute to land in our body in the as is with no need to change anything or fix anything, just being present with what is showing up right now. Hey, Patty. Hey, hey, Patty. Hey, Susan. Um, Coming in for a landing in the moment, in your body, in the as is, exactly as it is. And of course, as usual, everything you're doing, you can take seated, standing up, however you want to be. I am going to remember to share a screen today. And let's just breathe for a second. Feeling the growing and shrinking with the breath, feeling the rising and falling, and letting yourself kind of come down to earth, come down to the planet through the exhale. Inhale, we can rise away from the floor, and then exhale, we come back and settle into the floor, allowing the gravitational pull of the earth to support us, to support our bodies here on the planet. Gravity says you belong. You are not going to fall off, and it is your birthright to be here. So just coming into sensation, however you are, is fine. It is what it is right now. And let's work with the theta breath for a couple of breaths. So a soft hiss, just letting your breath slowly release. I just had this image inside of like the deflating a balloon, right? Just letting everything kind of come into itself. So let that happen sort of internally. If you can feel into that sensation of shrinking in with the exhale, releasing downward to the earth, that would be fabulous. And noticing whatever you notice on the internal interoception, the sensation of inside your body, what you're feeling, what you're noticing. So let's think that as we're on the exhale, on that slow hiss exhale, that we're going into inner feeling. And as we're on the inhale, let's feel a little bit more at the surface of our body or even outside of our body. Exteroception, what is happening outside of our body? So it's kind of more advanced to exhale, go in, inhale, open out. Just see if your awareness can shift back and forth from those two places. As you exhale, you're going in, feeling into your body. As you inhale, you could open your eyes on the inhale and close them on the exhale. Maybe a little advanced, but I feel like all of you can totally handle this. It's almost like the inhale, you're coming to the surface and checking out everything and going, oh, it's okay, I can go back in. A little more breaths like that, taking in the outer world and then coming into the inner world. And if you just want to go in, then feel free to just stay in. And if you just want to be kind of exploring what's outside, feel free to do that too. So really let this land by just giving you choices and how you want to participate. So I'm already letting my head tail connection and even my occipital joint, my cranium on top of my spine just have a little bit of freedom. So there's some micro movement in there. There's some gentle adjustment happening as I give myself the information on a deep nervous system level that I'm safe just by looking around. Nothing bad is going to happen. I can dial down. I can go into that parasympathetic state of rest and digest, soothe and settle, where my body gets a chance to process. So inviting that micro movement into, it might just be your top of your body, neck, or maybe it feels good to move from below as well, so that like we're getting the whole spinal wave alive and in just online, bringing it online. And so one thing I want to offer today is thinking about our cranium as the sort of ball that's atop our body, but there's a lot of capacity for movement. Like, I don't want to say floating up there, but in a way, like the joints are all lubricated. There's spaciousness inside. We can sort of feel like our cranium's floating. So we've got this head tail spinal relationship with our cranium on top. And then we've got our rib cage and lungs, heart and diaphragm, and this big bony structure supporting our organs. And then as we go down, there's our pelvis, the bowl of the pelvis. So feeling like if I move something in the top, then there's going to be a ripple through relationship, whether I can sense it or not, but there will be some fluidity working its way through our whole head, tail, cranium, ribs, pelvis relationship. So let's just play with that for a few minutes, playing with this relationship of head to ribs to pelvis and all the fluid structures within that are connecting all of that. So there's the fascia, there are the actual fluids, the cerebrospinal fluid, blood flow, lymphatic flow. And then there are these organs within there, right? And our nervous system, our vascular system, our heart system, our lungs, the oxygen moving through our body. All of these are supports. So tuning in and just seeing what comes alive for you with that relationship of pelvis, ribs, head, freedom in the spine, and taking it not on a big, oh, I got to fix this thing, I got to push that, but in a really gentle, soft, small micro movement level. So it's like just letting these big structures kind of float with each other within the system of your body, which is all kind of suspended in the fluids anyway. So tuning into that. And let's use an O and an ah sound. So it's going to be kind of loud, and my headphones might or my earbuds might take it out. But what I'm going to do is go with an O, and then from or like let's go with an oo and an O. So I'm going to show you up close. And when I do it, what I can hear in my own head is some overtones. So I'm going to play with this O, O, O. Letting the O ring of my mouth have this spaciousness And this movement, and there's some free flow in that spacious movement. So it's not just clamped down or, oh, I'm controlling it. It's letting it happen. And I'm playing with the way that the air is moving through my mouth. So this isn't so that we become opera singers at the Met, or better yet, the Sydney Opera House. But it's so that we just create the sense of vibration and sound and fluidity. If you're in a place where you can't make noise, you can do it with just aspirated. So, and I'm kind of feeling how, like, if my mouth is more like a little O, the air is going to shoot sort of more straight out. But if I open more, there's more cavernousness inside my face. So I'm letting that sound just be something to play with. So we're playing with the spaciousness inside our bodies, the fluidity inside our bodies, and then this vibration of sound and how that affects our tissues and the way that we might be inspired to move or be in stillness. So playing with that ooh sound in this way of sort of opening and expanding and then becoming a little bit more streamlined with the breath. And while we're doing that, we're still allowing the head, the ribs, the pelvis to adjust in any way that feels good. You could be standing or laying down or even on all fours doing this. So for me, when I add that sound, it brings me into more micro movement than macro movement. Might be different for you, but because I'm working with this shaping in my mouth, with my tongue, with the breath, it's giving me a smaller micro movement, smaller internal adjustments. And that's what we're inviting in. If you feel like moving big, go for it. Taking resting breaths whenever you need them. And also, after you've done it a few times, you might just want to let yourself go into open movement, wave like tentacle movement, open awareness, just letting your body respond to what happened in that breath for you or what was happening on a vibrational level. Letting yourself explore the landscape that you're creating, or the oceanscape, or the experience scape. Let's also try it with some hands on. You can take your hands on your belly or your hands around your ribs. So sort of freeing up this diaphragm, your actual diaphragm, so that it's not sticking to your lungs or sticking to your liver, that the organs underneath and the organs above have like slidey glidey surfaces. So you can kind of let that float, which if I start to move around in here, I'm going to, if I think about it, I can allow myself to really free up my head tail connection. So letting yourself play with that, right? We're creating the volume in the ribcage lungs as we breathe bigger to be able to make the sound. Now let yourself slide around in there. Ribcage, lungs, and heart having some free flow micro movement, and hands on if that feels good. When you have hands on and you make sound, you may feel another level or layer of vibration happening. resting breaths, or even going back to theta breath anytime you want. And if you start to feel like, wow, this is a lot of work, let it go. Just let yourself explore the space created. The vibration, bringing your sensory awareness really online. And also, it's giving you internal spaciousness, right? So we're not forcing anything into the body. We're not trying to fix it. We're giving it room to thrive, room to rehydrate, renegotiate the inner space in a way that feels good for your body, not from the outside imposing your idea of how to fix it. So for me also, I'm finding that like I'm creating a lot of shaping in my throat. It's not just all coming out like I'm singing when I go into these sounding vibratory experiences. There's a sort of tension in there that's helping control the flow of the air and the shape of the air coming out. But it's the tension of creation, right? The tension of form, the tension of making something, and then letting it go when I go to resting breaths. And as I'm in there, I can notice what kind of holding patterns are happening in my body. And if there's anything that I'm ready to let go of, any extra spaciousness, I'm going to take this down to the floor and put on music and just let us play with that. From here on in, probably a little bit of talking, maybe not that much. We'll see. So this is Ambient Fields, album number 4, my friend Jeff Gersh. So you can continue to make sound playing with the ooh, if that feels interesting to you. But you can also just receive the sound and the vibration of the sound, it's almost like you want to take your thinking, planning offline and just arrive in the experience of being and give your body the capacity to be more spacious just through allowing movement to come up. We've spent our whole lives inhibiting movement. Now we're going to allow it to move. But always know that you can come back to no movement, or you can stop whatever's happening. So if like Kriya type, things start to release in your nervous system, just know you actually can control that and not make it be too crazy if that feels good to you. So really inviting the relationships between the diaphragm, between the organs above the diaphragm and the organs below, to have some freedom and some slidiness. Let your belly stick out some of the time, right? Play with what it is to push through that. So often we are culturally inhibited in our bodies, like we're imposing these braces on ourselves and in our way that we hold our body. Let that go for this period of time. Just be like an animal, like a cat's not thinking that there's a problem with their body. So take away any kind of judgment and just be in the experience if possible. Judgment can be there, just don't give it the awareness. Exploring through the fluidity of being a body of water and letting the water in your body sort of express the water and the breath, the water affected by the vibration of the sounds. And feeling into the spaciousness inside your cranium, in the sinuses, even in the bones. letting your body ripple and wave in any way that feels good. Sometimes the waves will just happen on their own. Sometimes you are nudging them a little bit. And then sometimes there's the kind of shaky release also, which you can allow to happen or you can inhibit it. And sometimes, like, I'll get into that shaking thing. It doesn't always feel like I need to shake for 24 hours to release. Sometimes just like a couple of minutes of letting the sort of shake come out is enough. And if I do it for too long, that's exhausting too. So really listen to your internal wisdom, your higher good, your inner healer as to how much of anything you need. And don't push beyond it. Don't force your body into anything. Just allow and listen. Letting your movement be your movement. And it isn't to say that your muscles are never engaging and you're just like a bowl of jello. You can engage. You're just engaging, releasing, you're moving. Sometimes pushing feels good. Sometimes resisting feels good. Can you stay present with yourself? If thinking comes in and stories come in, just come back to sensation. Let your body explore as if you have just arrived in this body and have no idea what it can do. So it's learning itself in a new way, or your body mind is learning itself. Diaphragm like a jellyfish in your body, right? It's not like an umbrella or a balloon. It's like a living creature. It's not moving in a mechanical way. It's biomorphic. It's moving in a fluid, alive way, giving it more freedom. And as the diaphragm has more freedom, there is more capacity to breathe, to really partake of the world, to breathe it in, to breathe it out. Letting the lungs and the ribs be easy. If you're carrying the backpack of expectations, of your expectations, of other people's expectations, just take it off for a while. Let yourself free yourself from that. lot of times we think we are these sort of, well, many people think that there are these sort of pulley systems with levers and bones and muscles doing all the work, but really we're these fluid, infinite potential systems, right? Lots of capacities for moving in different ways. See if you can just move from the fluid or move from the breath, the least effort possible. Moving to make it easier, not moving to make it harder. And inviting your body to let go of any sticky holding, any resentment, any bitterness that you are not enjoying. Let it go. Let it melt away. Coming back to any of the relationships we talked about, sort of the spinal head tail fluidity, pelvis, ribs, cranium. Layering in the information, layering in the experience. If you do this exact same class tomorrow, it will be completely different for you and your body. I mean, even like repeating the same video is going to have a totally different feeling in your body. So there's a tremendous value in layering in the information or layering in the experience, not really the information. Whole body is invited on the journey. Suspended in space, suspended in the fluids in your body, supported by the gravitational pull of the earth, supported by the fire of the sun and your own electrical currents, your own heart energy, your nervous system energy, your cellular currents, all that life support, always with you as long as you're alive. and the wonder of being a person. If you don't feel much wonder, open up your kinesphere. Check out the space above you, around you. Where is your wonder? I learned something really interesting yesterday, I think from Neil deGrasse Tyson on Instagram. And it was that the water is around the world in like almost like an oval. And it's not the water, the tide coming in and out. The water's not moving. The water's staying the same, and the earth is moving inside the water. I thought that was an amazing thing to think about. So we've got this sort of oval thing, and that is the tides. As the earth moves to the higher and then the lower and then the higher, it's really about the water holding the world, holding the world. So the water is also holding us, and we're just moving with it and through it, right? I love that image. And these explorations can take place in just one little minute of coming into your body, going, what's it like in there today? It doesn't have to be for an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours, or it can just be a minute of dropping in and going, can I be more fluid? Can I tune into the vibrational nature of being, the energetic nature? Can I feel the growing and shrinking of my breath, or imagine breathing on a cellular level? And can I just come out of judgment into experience, right? Just experiencing without the need to judge, fix, but just to be present in the what is. Permission to enter into sensation, movement, any kind of movement. Coming in with our curiosity. What does it feel like now? What am I noticing? What is happening in this experience, in this moment? And you don't have to have an answer. You can just come in and experience. If you feel like you know where you're going and you've planned it out, go somewhere else so we can start to find new things and not just be moving through our own predictive patterns all the time, but we're opening up the space for new, novel movement and sensation. We will be in this body mind for our whole life. Can we have a better relationship with ourselves in there? Can we be working with healthy patterns in our life, in our body, like walking, being outside, eating lots of fruits and vegetables, drinking healthy water, all those wonderful things. It's going to turn off the music and give us a minute or two of silence. Ooh, oops, sorry, I did that in a really the wrong way, in a very unclear mind way. Oops. And let's just take a minute or two to be in our experience in silence. Letting your body process the processing. Seated, laying down, however feels good to you. And you can still move if movement feels good. Sometimes I feel like our pain can be a sort of looping pattern of our nervous system. So we want to give our nervous system more options. So it's not just locking in onto the pain feeling. And how do we do that? Just by moving in different ways, discovering new possibilities. I am going to stop the live stream. So if you are out there in TV land, thanks for joining. And I will come